And as a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a bitch. Turn that off.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to A Conservative Confucius here, back at it again. We're going to be getting into some breaking news and some news stories. I got some stuff saved up for you guys. Some good, crazy stuff going on in the world. Not good, but, some good stories, some crazy stuff going on in the world. So I guess let's get right into it. Don't forget to go down there, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell for all notifications. Really helps our channel when you guys subscribe. Please go do it. And don't forget to share this video if you liked it. Alrighty, let's get into it. Alrighty. So we're going to start off with the stock market crash. I had posted a little bit. I was going to do a video yesterday, but I sliced my freaking thumb open and it's all glued up and crazy and healing right now. So hopefully that goes well. I just have to let the glue cure for a couple of days and then I can take off the bandage, check on it, and hopefully we're okay. It was pretty bad. I almost cut the tip of my thumb off. It was crazy. Don't use a knife when you're half asleep. Literally, I was half asleep when this happened. It was crazy. I was so stupid. Alrighty. So we're going to go over some of the things that are going on right now in the stock market. I would pull up individual articles and it would just take forever. So we're going to go and just kind of go over what I've read. Different news sources are saying slightly different things. Some are saying 1,200, some are saying 1,000, as you can see here. But I've gotten what I can from all these sites, written them down and looked at them, and then put them aside so you guys can get all of the main clue, or the main points all in one spot instead of having to click on 6 different things and try to get, what's the average, information going out and kind of take that. No, I've already done that. I've gone through all the information and I got all the averages. And so this is what's going on. It's a stock market crash that we haven't seen since. It seems to be worse. It's possibly going to be worse than 2008 for sure. At least that's what people are saying. It seems to be worse than the 1987 stock market crash. And if it continues to go at the rate it's going now, we could be looking at something on level with the 1929 stock market crash, which ruined the entire world. And it doesn't seem to be going that bad, but it seems it may get close. 50% is if we get 50% of the way there, that's still global economy issues all over the world. It would stop so many different countries' economies. So let's get into it. So Dow sinks 1,200 plus points. That's over 3%. S&P 500 drops over 6+%. Nikkei 225 has hit its lowest point since the 1987 stock market crash. It's never been lower. Nifty is down 24,000 plus points, and the Nasdaq is down 4+%. So a few thousand points. Also, these are things that are looking to be crashing in the coming days. So if you see, you'll see a lot of things soaring, or they'll go back to being good in just in a couple days. Don't listen to that. If you see that, that's something that happened in the 1929 stock crash. Some things crashed and then rebounded really quickly, but then they crashed again. Others went super high and the stock market grew and people were like, oh, buy now. And then all of that ended up not only making the crash worse, but more long lasting. And so if you see stocks that are rising while others are dying off, don't do anything stupid like buy a whole bunch of stock in this one company that seems to be outlasting the other ones and not crashing. Do not do that. They will crash and it will be much worse than you anticipated. I promise you this. Okay, so while NVIDIA, these are other companies that are looking to, sorry guys, that are looking to crash most likely in the next few days, couple days or coming days. And that is NVIDIA, Supermicro, Broadcom, along with 22 other stocks. Give me a sec. All right. So according to those, according to the information that I have, the other stocks that will be looking to crash, like I said, were NVIDIA, Supermicro, Broadcom, and 22 other stocks along with that. Not only on top of all of this, Warren Buffett, one of the most, amazing and well-versed stock traders and stock, I guess you would almost want to call him like a stocksman. He's that good. That's like should be his title, a stocksman. And he's one of the most well-versed, richest men in the world who doesn't really use his money crazy and spend it all, buy a big yacht, buy a big car, buy a big house. No, he doesn't do that. He lives in the same house he had in 1976. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Omaha, Nebraska. The dude is a regular guy on every level and a good dude. And he just lost $15 billion or more. It's continuing to get larger. So more than $15 billion in the crash just in the last 2 days. Less than 48 hours. He's lost over 15 billion. That's with a B, billion. And that's insane. Like, we're probably going to get numbers on how much Elon has lost in the last couple of days too. I mean, I'm sure he's lost at least that much or more, like probably more, honestly. And it's going to continue to be like this until the stock market really has like a settling down moment where things kind of settle. We figure out how low the lows actually are going to get. And once they hit those real lows and they kind of settle at that, then we'll slowly start to being able to go back up again. But, we'll see a lot of quick rebounds, but those rebounds they're false rebounds. They're not real rebounds. So don't be stupid and buy into those. Like when you see these, when you see these false rebounds, don't be stupid and go and buy a whole bunch of stock with that company. It's most likely not going to stay at that. And even if it does, it's not worth the risk of finding out that it isn't. Because if it isn't, you just lost way, way more money and put yourself into a much more volatile situation, and you're messing up your portfolio, and just, it's not a good idea. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next story. So here's a little historic timeline of Venezuela. In 1993, it became the 3rd richest country in the Western Hemisphere, our hemisphere. In 1997, it became the 2nd largest purchaser of the F-150. I don't know if they're meaning the Ford F-150 or if they're meaning like some type of military vehicle, or like, I think they mean, it's got to be that. Yeah, it's got to be the Ford F-150, which is like a huge truck. And it's very rare that you see pickup trucks being bought outside of the U.S. So that's huge. That means that they've really done something well with their country if they're buying American trucks. And yeah, so let's see. So 1999 voted in a socialist president for income inequality. Higher education becomes constitutionally free. Oh, you think, oh, wow, it's so great. That sounds so amazing. Privatized healthcare is completely socialized. That's a little much. Socialists ban private ownership of guns. Okay, now you're stepping on people's rights. Okay, Bernie Sanders praised their American dream. By the way, this is the same Bernie Sanders who honeymooned in Soviet Russia. I'm not kidding. In 2014, the opposition leaders are imprisoned. Sounds like Ukraine right there. And I'm not praising Russia. They do the same thing. But Ukraine did it right after the start of the war. And anybody who's critical, religious leaders, everybody. Anybody who might hold enough power to sway the public against particularly Zelensky himself, has been imprisoned. Even American journalists who were there just reporting on the war. Food and healthcare shortages became widespread. Constitutional elections are suspended, and unarmed citizens are massacred by their own government. That's where they are right now. Even worse, they've falsified an election. They were caught doing so, and now they're killing people that stand up against the false election that has just happened in Venezuela. And yeah, right. If you go back to 2016 during the food and healthcare shortages, it was already bad then. Their money had gone up 4,000% in inflation. So they were like $1 was the equivalent of $4,000 just however many years prior to that. And it's insane. It's truly absurd. Yeah, see, Venezuela bans private gun ownership 2012, and 2019, unarmed citizens are massacred by their government. They were even being massacred before that, but not on that level. So welcome to the Biden-Harris admin. The Taliban get administration. Yeah, so this is what they're doing in the world. Taliban gets $239 million in aid after it failures the State Department vetting. So even though they just failed vetting, meaning that they are trying to kill people like our own allies or killing us, and they failed the vetting process, meaning there was multiple issues that we found with their government, with their organization, with everything they're doing, and yet we still gave them half or $250 million, and somehow that's perfectly fine. But we got to make sure that we don't give people in Maui anything more than $700 a piece, and we can't give Israel anything without making sure they don't attack the people who are trying to kill them. But let's go give Ukraine, what, $1 trillion almost, half a trillion. Yeah, we're almost at, we're just, I think, either just below or just above half a trillion right now. It's either 460 trillion or just above 500 trillion or 500 million. Sorry, billion. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. So we're either at $460 billion total, and that includes whether it's weapons voucher aid, financial and economic aid for the country, other types of aid, food and all kinds of stuff, international, everything. And if we count all of that, that means that we've given them roughly anywhere between 460 to 500 billion plus dollars, and yet somehow we couldn't give $700 a piece, more than $700 a piece to Maui victims, and we couldn't give Israel a couple billion more while they're fighting an enemy that's actually worth fighting, and they're actually winning. And every time they start winning, America says, no, you can't buy weapons from us anymore. You're winning. We only like it when you lose, because then we can help out the loser. And helping a loser looks a lot more beneficial to our cause and to our administration than helping the winner. We don't like it when Jews win. It makes us look bad. So lose and then come back. And once you lose a little bit, we'll give you more money. That's pathetic. It's horrible. And instead of winning this war and not needing to give Israel any more money, they've continually drawn this out, making Israel need more money than it should have if they had just done this the right way the first time. It's pathetic and disgusting. Let's get a little bit more Kamala Harris ridiculous crap in here.
And then the Democrats are claiming that they've raised a record amount of money in just a few days now that Kamala announced. So now we have a list of just examples.
Okay, so yeah, this is crazy. He's going to talk about the Act Blue donations. I don't know if you guys remember years ago, like 2-3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, was it Project Veritas, when it was still run by James O'Keefe. He investigated Act Blue for it might have been just barely 2 years ago, or like a year and 9 months ago or something like that. Seems like, about a year and 9 months ago seems about right. And he was doing an investigation right before he actually got kicked out of Project Veritas. And sorry, not supposed to use that thumb. And he was doing investigations because people were finding that, not people, but he was finding that people who either weren't voting Democrat or didn't ever vote for, or didn't ever donate to any other political organization in their entire life, were donating not just once or twice to Act Blue, which is a far left progressive super PAC for the Democrats, but they were also donating so much money to Act Blue, it was impossible. So, people who were making less than $50,000 a year living in a 1-bedroom apartment in a bad area were somehow donating $800, twice a week for the last 6 months to Act Blue. And it didn't make any sense. So what was happening is they were fake donating money and laundering money through Act Blue, and then using other people's names and information and saying that that was the person who gave the money. So they would donate money in other people's names to launder the money through the system to get it to the campaign, or to get it to the candidates they wanted to in Act Blue. It's so disgusting. It's so unbelievable. I mean, what's crazy is we don't know where all of the money is coming from through Act Blue. Like, who's laundering it through Act Blue? Is it Hamas? Is it the Muslim Brotherhood? Is it George Soros? Is it Klaus Schwab? Who is it? Is it one of these? It's either all of them, or it could be some of them. It could be, it's probably all of them, honestly. I mean, we have Qatar and Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood funding our college campuses right alongside George Soros. And of course, the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab's dumbass are also in there too, doing their thing. And so it's truly disturbing how much of this is happening and how long it's been going on. I mean, The original one by Project Veritas was done, like I said, nearly 2 years ago, and yet it's still going on. And people are shocked when they find out that it says they've donated $12,000 in the last 8 months to Act Blue. One person had said they had donated $125,000 in less than a year. And they were like, no, dude, I don't even have that kind of money in my account. Like, I haven't had that money in my account since, I don't even know, 10 years. I don't know how I would donate that if I don't even have it. And people continually get asked, well, why would they say that you're donating? And he's like, I don't know. Some of the people were like, I might have donated to Act Blue like once, maybe like $5 or $10 here or there, but never like anything more than that, and never more than once. And people were shocked to find out that it was not just that one little tiny time. If it was ever that time, most of the time they're thinking of a different political organization that they voted or donated to, and that they're just putting that Act Blue in the place of that because they don't remember the name. And it's disgusting. They get away with this and no one cares, and it just gets shoved under the carpet. No one talks about it on the mainstream news. CNN won't even mention it.
Ghost donors, like these people that they're on the list for giving, but when you look at the amount and the amount of times they've given, it's basically impossible.
Cornelius M. was listed as not employed, but somehow donated to Act Blue 847 times between January 4th, 2021 and December 31st, 2022, totaling $18,276. Here's the vacant house listed under the donations address. And if you zoom in on the house, it's just like a 2x2 shotgun house with somebody sitting on the porch.
It doesn't look like someone who's donated 847 times.
That's the kind of person. That's the average donor. Don't get it twisted, right?
So this is how their schemes work.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, when was the last time we had an honest election?
This is kind of the same principle where we say illegal immigrants, they don't have to vote themselves. Some Democrat activist, dark pool money group is going to just steal their identity. And then someone's going to get locked up to make an example of him. And he's like, they didn't vote.
Exactly. Some dude is, if anybody gets locked up for this. If anybody gets locked up for this, it's going to be some random guy who had barely anything to do with it and was just kind of like the middleman, or, you know, just a very edge person who just maybe happened to get caught on camera doing something while the rest of the people didn't. And the real people in charge of all that crap are going to get let go and nothing's going to happen to them. It's pathetic. I'm so tired of this crap, dude. More Kamala Harris bullshit.
You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
Look at their faces.
You know,
they're like,
we have to stay woke.
Look at their faces.
Like,
Look.
not if you're the
She's like, yeah, sure, Kamala. Yeah. And this girl's like sitting all uncomfortably, like, yeah, sure, whatever. Weird person.
the wokest or woker, but just
God, she's so loud.
stay more woke than less woke. Yeah. You know, we have to stay woke. Like,
Bidenomics is working.
No, it's not.
Biden.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping private files in some.
Oh, this one's ridiculous.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house.
What?
It's on your laptop, and it's
What?
then therefore up here in this cloud.
Does she think the cloud is like a real thing? Like, it's just, hey, you know, look at that cloud over there. That's got my, you know, my hard drive from 6 years ago on it. Oh, look at that cloud. That one's got my, you know, my dirty pictures from when I was, you know, a kid sending weird photos to girlfriends I had. Oh, and look up there. There's that hard drive with all those video games I stole from that one company online. And oh, there's all my LimeWire songs up there. Like, that's not how it works, dumbass. Like, it's just up there in the cloud. Like, no, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Like, I mean, I know you're stupid. I mean, I don't have to ask that, but are you mentally, you know, ill? Are you mentally challenged? Like, are you a retarda? I can't say it without getting in trouble. So yeah, you get what I'm saying. What's that word? What's that? Oh, in The Hangover, when he goes, a retard or whatever. He says it like that. But yeah, you get my point. It's ridiculous. Up there in the cloud. Are you kidding me? It's not like you have to put documents in your basement anymore. What are you talking about? We've had computers since the 80s. We haven't had to put, I mean, as if you want to talk about large scale documents, we haven't had to do that since the 90s. You know, small documents we haven't had to do since the freaking 80s. What are you talking about, woman? You are insane. Like, you are truly just one of the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life. I mean, is that what happens when you just sleep your way to the top? You sleep with Willie Brown, you sleep with what's his name, Mondell or whatever his name is, that guy who was like the Black Dr. Phil. All of that, all you've done is sleep your way to the top. Literally, you were in a throuple, a triple, like a girl, 2-girl, 1-guy relationship with Montel and another girl. Then you ruined a marriage between Willie Brown and Willie Brown's wife, and did what you did there until you got yourself into politics. It's ridiculous. You are nothing.
Therefore, up here in this cloud that exists above us.
No,
right?
It doesn't.
It's no longer in a physical place.
Yes, it is. It's in a physical place. It's called this physical place right here. This physical place. That one. See? Physical. That's my hard drive. And guess what? The cloud is a big one of those. It's a massive one at a warehouse in some other place in some state. That's the cloud. It's just a larger foreign hard drive in another place. The cloud is an online hard drive. It doesn't exist in the ether, in the the mystery of the internet. No, are you insane? All right, so I showed you the video of the interviews between the Arabs in Palestine and what they thought about Jews in Israel, and October 7th. It was pretty disgusting. And then here's another one. What do Jewish people in Israel and other Israelis think of the Palestinians, and do they believe in coexistence and peace? We already know what the other ones think in Palestine. They want to kill us and wipe Israel off the map, literally, and they don't believe that anything bad happened on October 7th that wasn't justified, because they say, oh, yes, it was all justified, but there wasn't this, this, and this. And it's like, well, if there was that, though, it would be justified. And then it was unbelievable what they said.
I just got back from Palestine, where I asked Palestinians questions about the conflict. Now I'm going to ask Israelis the exact same question to compare and contrast. Let's hear from both sides now. Do you guys believe that there can be peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you want to live with the Israelis in peace?
I want to.
No.
We should delete Israel.
Do you think that a two-state solution could work?
I don't think a two-state solution could work anymore. I don't think it's possible. I think it has to be one state. But I do want to live in peace with the Palestinians. I don't think I could right now. I don't think anybody could. And that's the issue. That's why no one takes them into their countries, is because no one could live in peace with these people. And sadly, until they love life and love their children more than they hate Jews, nothing will change. And that's true as it was when Golda Meir said it, as it is to this day.
If they wanted peace, it could work.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So you would not be okay with a two-state solution?
Of course not.
They have to want peace. If they want peace, then I'm 100% for it. If they want to force us into a peace agreement while they want to kill us, which is every single time we've been in an agreement with them, I'm not for that anymore. I am no longer for signing ceasefires or peace agreements with people who do not want to live side by side with us. Because if they want a ceasefire, the only reason they want it is so they can have nothing going on in their life long enough until they can plan another attack to murder the Jews.
I want one-state solution. No Israel.
So no more Israel?
Yes.
Israel wiped off the map?
Palestine فقط.
Are you able to find love in your heart for the Palestinians in spite of everything that's happening?
Of course.
Of course, like, they're amazing people.
I love all people. Of course I do.
Absolutely. As long as they're cool with me, I'm cool with them.
It's a human being, why not?
Britain brought all the criminal Jews since 1948.
They can go back. Holland, Iraq.
Most of those places they were kicked out of.
If they are kicked, it's because of their own actions. They steal.
So when you were kicked out of Israel because you fought against the Jews, most of you, yes, you left because the Arab leaders told you to leave and then come back in 2 or 3 weeks, and you would have more land and more wealth than ever before because the Jews would be forced into the sea and exterminated. So yes, many of you left. The majority of you left. Around 650,000 of you left because of that. The other 150 to 250,000 left because you were forced. 150 to 200,000, I mean, were forced out by the Israelis because you fought against them. There were many Arabs. Over 160,000 Arabs remained in Israel after the war because they didn't fight against Israel. They fought with Israel. And the ones who didn't were told, you have to leave. You can take your family if you want, but they can stay here if you go. But of course they were like, no, I'm not leaving my family. So they took their family, which made the number go up higher, a lot higher, like 7 to 8 times higher. Instead of just, 15, 20,000 men kicked out, you had all 15, 20,000 men and all of their families and relatives and everything with them. And and I think that if they fought against a country who was willing to give them a home and a piece of freedom and nationality and identity, and was willing to give them all of that and said, we want you as part of our home, as long as you want to be here, I'm happy to. They said, nope, we don't want to be here. We want to murder you. This is our land, even though we just got here like 30 years ago. Screw you. That's what they did. And they were justly and rightfully kicked out and said, get the hell out. We don't want you here. If you're going to try to kill us, then you shouldn't be here either.
They do all awful deeds.
So I just got back from the West Bank, and there was a lot of people who told me that there were no innocent civilians killed on October 7th. How does that make you feel?
They are being blind, They have 7 friends who were murdered on October 7th.
The murders Hamas did on October 7th, is that okay?
Yes.
They have the right to do it.
They killed innocent Israelis. Yes, they did.
No.
I couldn't find one person in the West Bank to say that the hostages should be released. Yeah, what's your reaction?
I'm not surprised.
How does that make you feel?
Hostages that they were in Palestinian homes of just civilians. So if you're so innocent, how are you doing this? And if you do want peace as a Palestinian, you have to speak up like we are.
Do you think Hamas should release the Israeli hostages?
No.
No. No.
As you just saw, it truly was.
Yeah, tale of two cities, exactly. And I'm so tired of people trying to gaslight Jews and Israelis, whether you're Jewish or not, or you're just a Zionist or Christian or Muslims, Islamic Zionist, whoever you are. I am so tired of people telling us that we cannot have a viewpoint that is based on truth and kindness and peace, and is fighting for the side that believes in life and love, and doesn't attack people just because they are no longer with their religion, or they don't believe in the same things, or they believe that this land is theirs because of their religion. Like, I'm sorry, like, the Jews don't believe the land is theirs because of their religion only. They lived there for over 3,000 years, and it shouldn't be something that's controversial if not just the history books talk about it, or not just the religious books talk about it, but the history books, and every historian that can agree on something is an agreement on this. It doesn't make any sense. Alrighty. Oh, close one. There you go.
Okay. So some massive breaking news right now. Ismail Haniyeh, who's
I wanted to show you guys this guy first. This is what I wanted to talk about. We already talked about Haniyeh.
A top Hezbollah military official named Fuad Shakur was taken out in an airstrike from Israel in Damascus, Syria yesterday. Now, Israel was saying this guy was responsible for the 12 kids that were lost their lives in the Golan Heights.
He's also responsible for the Beirut
bombing. So they
bombing.
specifically targeted him. Now, this guy's been in Hezbollah since 1982, and U.S. officials believe that he was instrumental in orchestrating and preparing and organizing the attack on the Beirut, Lebanon Marine Barracks in 1983 that resulted in 241 service members losing their lives.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to a program devoted.
We don't need more Kamala. And so I wanted to show you guys this. Well, this is important actually. It's about Kamala again, but this isn't like anything what we were showing before. This is, I think every American, especially if you're a Black American and you fight for prison reform and stuff like I've done, I think this is something you need to see.
In 2008, I was framed for murder and wrongfully convicted by the office of Kamala Harris, sentenced 50 to life in prison. It took me 5.5 years to ultimately get back in the trial due to prosecutorial misconduct, and it took me another year to go to my second trial, to which I was vindicated by a jury of my peers. When I got convicted, Kamala Harris was in the courtroom. When I got sentenced 50 to life in prison, Kamala Harris was in the courtroom. When I look back and I seen her, she was smiling. And she did that stupid ass laugh that she do right now. This shit ain't funny.
Exactly.
The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North.
This one's good. So she's talking about an alliance. She's talking at I don't know how to say this city. It's in South Korea. Pwanmunjom. Okay, so Pwanmunjom, South Korea. And she's meant to say South Korea, but she says North Korea right here and says we have a very important alliance with North Korea. Are you insane, woman?
Shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea.
What? What?
And it is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
What?
And today, there were several demonstrations of just that point.
Do you think we have an alliance with?
Like, I'm not even going to get into this. That's insane. Are you stupid, woman? I mean, we already know this. I've said it a million times. Yes, you're stupid. But lastly, we're going to go over some. I wanted to go over some of the information on is what's going on in Israel. So right now, Israel braces and prepares for a large-scale attack on multiple fronts. A coming onslaught from Iran and its proxies seems imminent right now. Hezbollah launches a large-scale drone attack on Israel after Hezbollah, a leader who was responsible for the recent attacks that killed 12 kidnapped and deaths of many others, along with the 1983 being responsible for the 1983 Beirut attack that killed 241 American service members. This being Faroud Shakur has now been killed along with the other attack against Ismail Haniyeh. And due to those two instances, Iran, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, along with other proxies of Iran, are going to be very, very likely to do a multi-front attack against Israel. Iran has already promised retribution for the two deaths. Hezbollah has as well, and it seems like the other proxies are kind of falling in line and most likely going to do an multi-front onslaught against Israel in the coming days. So I do think that the Faroud Shakur whatever you want to call it, killing, assassination, deletion, whatever you want to call it, that his ending was good for America and Israel. I mean, literally, I think it's better for America than it is Israel. Yeah, they had 12 citizens that they had to, that they're, basically avenging, but 12 compared to 241 American service members is nothing. Like 241 American service members would be the equivalent of roughly not very many, Israelis, probably probably less than a dozen. And it's still a great thing to see, though, is 241 Americans finally have justice for the fact that they were blown up to smithereens by a terrorist leader who is now, done, no longer with us because of that attack against him. And I am very, very happy. I wish that we would see more celebration from the right, from the media and everything, and celebrating the fact that a leader who killed 241 American service members is gone and no longer with us. That's a very good thing to celebrate. But yeah, so let's get into this last clip. Shocking admission from the Secret Service on Trump's safety during that day.
The Secret Service held its first press conference since Donald Trump was nearly executed on live TV. After stonewalling the media and congressional investigators for 3 weeks, Director Ronald Rowe made a shocking admission. Watch.
Can you confirm that this was the first 2024 campaign event that counter-sniper teams were assigned to the former president?
It was the first time Secret Service counter-snipers were deployed to support the former president's detail.
Wow.
The former president of the United States and the nominee as the Republican, the man who Democrats and the media have been labeling a clear and present danger to democracy, Hitler, and a dictator, wasn't given Secret Service counter-sniper teams at his campaign rallies for the last 2 years.
That is absurd and insane. It is outright disgusting that where he didn't have
Kamala Harris explained.
It's outright disgusting that he didn't have that kind of protection. He should have had it the day he was announcing he was running for president again. And it's disgusting to see that he didn't get the same treatment that any other political person would have. It's the same kind of thing that happened with RFK. They don't want to help anybody if they're not on their side, and that's him politicizing and polarizing the government against his opposition. It's the same thing a communist would do, but lesser, obviously lesser than some communists. But I mean, it's Marxism. It's pure Marxism. It's banana republic bullshit. I mean, this is insane. We need to fight and stand up against these people if we want to win back our country against this, because if we do not, we will lose our country to radical postmodern Marxism, and it will be the last time that this country has ever been free, and all of our inane human rights will be gone, and I'll definitely be gone because I'm not staying here once everything goes to crap. And I hope that we can fight for it and fight it right now and get back. Everybody needs to go out there and make sure you vote. Make sure you're registered. If you haven't registered yet, do. Make sure you're filling out all the polls you can so people, so Donald Trump's numbers reflect what's going on in reality, even though I don't think that'll ever happen because it just seems like Republicans don't fill out polls as much as they should. But we need to go out there and we need to make sure that it's known that he is the leading candidate. No matter how many polls they want to put out that are fake and full of crap, we got to keep putting our numbers out and letting people know that we're on his side. And it's proof by looking at his rallies. They're massive. They're held every day all around the country in the most liberal parts and the most democratic parts and the most rural, conservative parts. No matter where he goes, his rallies have, anywhere between a minimum of 20,000 and it's packed full, and just because he can't fit anymore. But some of them are, fitting 100,000 or more at the rallies, plus another 10 or 20,000 waiting outside tailgating. This is absurd. There's never been a president who's been this popular. His second time running after failing, messing the last one up and all of this crap. And yet he's more popular than ever. And we need to make sure that people continually to talk about how his popularity is growing and how everything is getting better for him and how all they're seeing is people switching their vote and changing their mind about him. We need to push that kind of content to the forefront, because that's what's going to help people see, okay, well, if they're changing their mind and this person is changing their mind and they're changing their mind and that one is too, and this one and that one and that one, well, I might as well change my mind. And that's how you get people to change their minds, is by showing them other people making the same journey they might want to make themselves. That's how I turned from left to right. I watched people who were kind of in their own journey already, and they were slowly becoming more and more and more away from the side that they were previously on. And that's how I made my journey. Obviously, there are a lot of people who I watched that weren't on that journey, but it was the people who were doing those things that showed me those other people. So I would watch those people, and they'd show me Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro or Michael Knowles or whatever, and that's how I learned about those guys. And then those guys helped me in my journey even more. So that's what we need to be doing. We need to be showing people the content that shows other people changing and going on that journey. And then those people, we need to, in those same videos, you need to show them other content like Steven Crowder and other people who will help them stay strong in the new values that they've adopted from us. Alrighty, guys. So don't forget to go down there. That's going to be it for this video. Smash the like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. And if you like this video, please share it. Alrighty, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to go down there and hit that subscribe. It really helps us. Alrighty. Have a good one, guys.